Welcome to Spark Media. I am Archana Pradhan. Today we are going to share an important information that is sacking the entire humanity. A bottle that costs just 30 to 40 rupees ruins our life forever. So let's start today's topic, that is acid attic in India. Now let's try to understand what is acid attic. An acid attic is also called as acid throwing, vitriol attack or vitriolage, is a form of violent action involving the act of throwing acid or similarly corrosive substance onto the body of another, with the intentions to harm, disfigure, maim, torture or kill. Perpetrators of these attacks throw corrosive liquids at the victims, usually at their faces, burning them and damaging skin tissue, often exposing and sometimes dissolving the bones. Acid addicts can lead to permanent, partial or complete blindness. So what are the acids that are used to commit such heinous crime? The most common types of acid used in these addicts are sulfuric and nitric acid. Hydrochloric acid is sometimes used but is much less damaging. Aqueous solution of a strong alkaline material such as caustic soda, that is sodium hydroxide, are well used, particularly in areas where strong acids are controlled substances. The long-term consequences of these addicts may include blindness as well as eye burns with severe permanent scarring of the face and the body, along with far-reaching social, psychological and economic difficulties. Today, acid attacks are reported in many parts of the world, though more commonly in developing countries. Between 1999 and 2013, a total of 3,512 Bangladeshi people were attacked with acid, with the rate of case is declining by 15% to 20% every year since 2002 based on strict legislations against perpetrators and regulation of acid sales. In India, acid addicts are at all the time high and increasing every year, with 250 to 300 reported incidents every year, while the actual number could exceed 1,000 according to Acid Survivors Trust International. Although acid addicts occur all over the world, this type of violence is most common in South Asia. The UK has one of the highest rates of acid addicts per capita in the world, though recent studies suggested that this is down to gang-related violence and possession offences, rather than traditional addicts found in lower middle income countries. According to Acid Survivors Trust International, that is ASTI, in 2016 there were over 601 acid attacks in the UK based on ASTI figures, and 67% of the victims were male. But statistics from ASTI suggested that 80% of the victims worldwide are women. Over 1,200 cases were recorded over the first 5 years. From 2011 to 2016, there were 1,464 crimes involving acid or corrosive substance in London alone. So, what are the health effects that is being faced by an acid victim? These are respectively: first, medical; second is the psychological; and third is the social. So let's discuss what is the health effects. The most notable effect of an acid addict is the lifelong bodily disfigurement. According to the Acid Survivors Foundation in Pakistan, there is a high survival rate amongst victims of acid addicts. Consequently, the victim is faced with physical challenges which require long-term surgical treatment as well as psychological, each stage of psychological recovery. And these far-reaching effects on the lives impact their psychological, social and economical viability in communities. So first, we have to discuss about the medical. The medical effects of acid addicts are extensive, as majority of acid addicts are aimed at the face. Several articles truly revive the medical implication for these victims. The severity of the damage depends on the concentration of the acid and the time before the acid is thoroughly washed off with water or neutralized with a neutralizing agent. The acid can rapidly eat away skin, the layer of fat beneath the skin, and in some cases even the underlying bone. Eyelids and lips may be completely destroyed and the nose and the are severely damaged. Though not exerted, Acid Survivor Foundation Uganda findings include that first, the skull is partly destroyed or deformed and hair lost. And second, our cartilage is usually partly or totally destroyed, deafness may occur. And third is the eyelids may be burnt off or deformed, leaving the eyes extremely dry and prone to blindness. Acid directly in the eye also damages sight, sometimes causing blindness in both eyes. So fourth, the nose can become shrunken and deformed. The nostrils may close off completely due to destroyed cartilage. So fifth, the mouth becomes shrunken and narrow and it may lose its full range of motion. Sometimes the lips may be partly or totally destroyed, exposing the teeth. Eating and speaking can become difficult. Sixth, the scars can run down from the chin to neck area, shrinking the chin and extremely limiting range of motion in the neck. Seventh, inhalation of acid vapors usually creates respiratory problems, exacerbated, restricted airway phase, the esophagus and the nostrils in acid patients. In addition to these above-mentioned medical effects, acid-addict victims face the possibility of sepsis, kidney failure, skin depigmentations, and even death. A 2015 article that involved throwing sulfuric acid on a man's face and body while the lay-in bed caused him, among the other serious injuries, to become paralyzed from the neck down. So second, that is the psychological. Acid assault survivors face many mental health issues upon recovery. One study showed that when compared to published Western norms for psychological well-being, non-Caucasian acid-addict victims reported higher levels of anxiety, depression, and scored higher on the Dariford Appearance Scale, which measures psychological distress due to one's concern for their appearance. So additionally, female victims reported lower self-esteem according to the Rosenberg scale, and increased self-consciousness both in general and in the social sphere. Third, in addition to medical and psychological effects, many social implications exist for acid survivors, especially women. For example, such addicts usually leave victims handicapped in some way, rendering them dependent on either the spouse or family for everyday activities such as eating and running errands. These dependencies are increased by the fact that many acid survivors are not able to find suitable work due to impaired vision and physical handicap. This negatively impacts their economic viability, causing hardships on the families or spouses that care for their economic viability, causing hardships on the families or spouses that care for them. As a result, divorce rates are high with abandonment by husbands found in them. 25% of acid assault occur in Uganda compared to only 3% of wives abandoning their disfigured husbands. Moreover, acid survivors who are single when attacked almost certainly become ostracized from society, effectively ruining marriage prospects. Some media outlets overwhelmingly avoid reporting acid-addict violence, or the description of the addict is laconic or often implies that the act was inevitable or even justified. So let's understand the treatment and consequences of acid addict. When acid contracts the skin, response time is crucial. If washed away with water or neutralized promptly, burns can be minimized or avoided entirely. However, areas unprotected by skin, such as the cornea of the eye or the lips, may be burnt immediately on contact. Many victims are attacked in an area without immediate access to water or unable to see due to being blinded or forced to keep their eyes closed to prevent additional burns to the eye. Treatment for burn victims remains inadequate in many developing nations where incidence is high. Medical underfunding has resulted in very few burn nations where incidence is high. Medical underfunding has resulted very few burn centers available for the victims in countries such as Uganda, Bangladesh, and Cambodia. For example, Uganda has one specialized burn center in the entire nation, which opened in 2003. Likewise, Cambodia has one only burn facility for the nations. And it may be scholars estimate that only 30% of the Bangladeshi community has access to health care. In addition to inadequate medical capabilities, many acid assault victims do report to the police due to lack of the trust in the force. A sense of hopelessness due to the attacker's impunity and fear of retribution by the assailant. So these problems are exacerbated by lack of knowledge of how to treat burns. Some victims have applied oil to the acid rather than rinsing thoroughly and completely with water for 30 minutes or longer to neutralize the acid. Such home remedies only serve to increase the severity of damage as they do not counteract acidity. So what motivation does inspire the perpetrators to commit such crime? So let's discuss. The intention of the attacker is often to humiliate rather than to kill the victim. In Britain, such attacks, particularly those against men, are believed to be underreported. As a result, many of them do not show up in official statistics. Some of the most common motivators or perpetrators include: first, conflict regarding intimate relationship and sexual rejection. Second, sexual-related jealousy and lust. And third, revenge for refusal of sexual advances, proposals of marriage and demands for dowry. Fourth, gang violence and rivalry. And fifth, conflicts over land ownership from animal housing and property. So, acid addicts often occur as revenge against a woman who rejects a proposal of marriage or a sexual advance. Gender inequality and women's position in the society in relations to men plays a significant role in these types of addicts. Addicts against individuals based on their religious beliefs or social or political activities also occur. These addicts may be targeted against a specific individual due to their activities, or may be perpetrated against random persons merely because they are a part of a social group or community. In Europe, Konstantina Kuneva, a former member of the European Parliament, had acid thrown on her in 2008 in what was described as the most severe assault on a trade unionist in Greece for 50 years. Female students have had acid thrown in their faces as a punishment for attending school. Acid attacks due to religious conflicts have been also reported. Both males and females have been victims of acid attack for refusing to convert to another religion. Conflicts regarding property issues, land disputes, and inheritance have also been reported as motivations of acid attacks. Acid attacks related to conflicts between criminal gangs occur in many places, including the UK, Greece, and Indonesia. So let's know what are the acid attacks preventions. So research has prompted many solutions to the increasing incidence of acid attack in the world. Bangladesh, whose rates of attacks have been decreasing, is a model for many countries, and they follow Bangladesh leads in many legislative reforms. However, several reports highlighted the need for an increased legal role of NGOs to offer rehabilitation support to acid survivors. Additionally, nearly all researchers stress the need for the stricter regulation of acid sales to combat the social issue. So what is the role of the NGOs? Many governmental organizations have been found in the areas with the highest occurrence of acid attackers ethics to the combat such ethics. Bangladesh has its Acid Survivors Foundation, which offers acid victims legal, medical counseling, and monetary assistance in rebuilding their lives. Similar institution exists in Uganda, which has its own Acid Survivors Foundation, and in Cambodia, which uses the hat of Cambodian Acid Survivors Charity. NGOs provide rehabilitation services for survivors while acting as advocates for social reform, hoping to increase support and awareness for acid assault. So, regulation of the acid cells. A positive correlation has been observed between acid ethics and age of acid percept. Sulfuric, nitric, and hydrochloric acid are mostly commonly used and are all cheap and readily available in many instances. For example, often acid throwers can purchase a liter of concentrated sulfuric acid at motorbike mechanic shops for about 40 US cents. Nitric acid costs around $1.50 per liter and is available for purchase at gold or jewelry shops, as polishers generally use it to purify gold and metals. Hydrochloric acid is also used for polishing jewelry as well as for making soy sauce, cosmetics, and traditional medicines or amphetamine drugs. So thank you. If you like watching our videos, kindly like, share and subscribe our channel.